Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
We're all kind of internet doctors, right? Like we know enough about certain ailments that we have to be dangerous. Is it possible, like the older you get, do your allergies get worse? I never had allergies in the last couple of years, but this week has been rough.
I remember you having every once in a while the seasonal allergy disorder, you would call it.
Sad.
And you were.
I was totally. It should have been called whatever FAT, the acronym. Yeah. Seasonal allergies. I had seasonal asthma.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
That's why I was
boo-boo. I'm
seasonal
sorry.
asthma.
Oh, I thought it was seasonal affective disorder. Like
no,
when you
that's
didn't
what
get enough
Sam.
sun.
Well,
Sad.
that could have been my problem because that's why I had to quit soccer when I was younger because I had seasonal asthma, but that's disguised as fat, and I didn't want to run. So I
similar symptoms.
fake a panic attack at midfield or whatever. Yeah. So, but it's like slowly getting worse every year. It's driving me crazy.
I didn't have allergies maybe about 5 years ago. Do you remember?
That's what I'm wondering if the older we get.
That I started, and this last week, today though in particular has been one of those really weird days.
Will you uncreate and destroy the belief that it's getting worse every year?
You tell my
I can do
nose
that.
I'll
Say
do whatever.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pocket, bottle, line, shorts, boys, pants. So it'll help clear that energy. But it could be a couple of things. It could be a belief that as you get older, your body falls apart.
Like
right?
I do believe that.
Yeah,
I know
it's a
that.
collective.
There's evidence of that.
Well, but it's a collective belief. So then it happens. Because we believe it, it happens.
Okay.
It could be EBV, so Epstein-Barr virus in your system.
I've heard of that. I've heard of
I know
Epstein-Barr.
that I have. I'm actually in stage 4 of it. And so like I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and it's actually.
I've heard of that too.
Yeah. And it's they believe that your thyroid attacks itself, which is not the case. It's actually Epstein-Barr and they don't have enough. Medical doctors don't have enough information on it. So it could be that virus is actually attacking your whole system, which it will do. It'll attack every organ and everything. So
how is this something you can develop or you catch it? Or
so
it is
the EB
you?
virus is a virus you catch. Usually it's a cold or mono, and then Western medicine hasn't really figured out how to recognize that it's still in the body. Or how to heal it. And it's
I've heard of them. I've heard of both of those.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
But there's ways to heal it. So like I'm doing celery juice cleansing every morning. Like I drink a bunch of straight celery juice.
I have seen that more often lately.
And I was incredibly resistant to it because I hate vegetables. So I just shoot it like it's whiskey or something. I'm just
Doing shots of
I do.
celery.
I'm doing shots of celery, just chugging it.
Yeah.
But I can feel, I feel different. And I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks and I feel different already.
Wow.
And I'm doing it specifically to go after the EBV virus. So it could be a couple different things, but it could be just a belief system too. So.
Yeah.
I absolutely am 100% in support of that if you believe something, it may
for sure.
it may not cause it, but it could prolong it. It could, you're more susceptible.
Yeah. And a quick little way to clear that is every time you think of something and you think, oh man, I'm just creating more of that, you could just say cancel clear and it will stop the momentum of that energy and clear it out of your auric field.
I'll try that.
Time.
Yeah.
We actually have it on our revert. Yeah, it's like an
Control delete.
Yeah. We actually have it on our refrigerator. My 9-year-olds, every time they say something, I'm like, cancel.
Cancel.
Cancel clear that, please.
Cancel clear that, please.
Yeah.
That's right up there with earmuffs.
Yeah. So.
I like that. All right. So last time you were here, we talked, and I've never revisited this since we talked about this. We talked about something, getting signs from the universe.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it was like a light bulb went off over my head, of what it was that I was getting signs about.
You got a date?
And no,
okay.
I did not.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
Well, I was excited.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks for cheering me up. Thanks for cheering me on. There we go.
Control delete. Alt delete. Whatever. Cancel control.
Cancel clear.
Cancel clear. Okay. I cancel clear that last message.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Anyway, and realized that I was getting signs for something, and
I
what
don't
it
think
was.
we introduced me.
It's Rhianna. There we go. It's done.
Sorry, they're probably, I could hear. Who are they talking to?
All right.
Hi.
Very nice.
Yes.
Rhianna Mays.
Rhianna's here.
Who is a regular with us. And last time we were here, we were talking about these signs that I kept getting, and it was like literally, Jill, pay attention. And I'm like, oh my God, I see it now. And I'd been really resistant to the idea of it. was selling my house. And I'd been getting all kinds of signs. I'd had small things that have been happening that are causing me grief, right? We had the windstorm and knocked a gate down. We had this I had the small leak that was under my shower. And so that affected the ceiling in the room below it, which honestly is a good thing because I've been wanting a reason to fix that ceiling and replace the lights that were down there because they were awful.
Yeah.
And I have never felt better. Just small aside, I replaced the lights. So we took out this 1972 lights that were in there, and they were the recessed square that had the covers would pull down,
Clank down and angle it.
Angle, right?
Yeah.
And they were cloudy, and you turn on the
Filled
lights,
with
you still
June
couldn't
bugs?
see anything. Well, usually they were. That's
Yeah.
right. And you couldn't see anything even if you had them on. So had my buddy Chris, he's the electric guy, an electrician, finally got some time on his schedule, and he came by, and I said, don't mind the rest of this. I know the water damage, and we already fixed that, and there's a couple holes up there where they had to get through to get the pipe, and it looks like a mess, but I need new lights. And he put in the new lights. And so I've got 3 new lights in that room and 1 in the laundry room. And it is like every time I turn on the lights, I am so flippin' happy. I've never seen that room
changes
before.
everything.
So now you don't want to move because now you can see that room.
Well,
and
once I saw that, it's like, and this was after I talked to you last time, because at that time I still just had the hole in the ceiling where they fixed the pipe above it, the water damage, and it's popcorn ceiling. It's got to go. It's like one of the last ones in the house. And so anyway, just the little things have been happening that are like, oh my God, one more thing I got to take care of. And then I'm also getting these other signs. Literally would get a phone call asking me if I was interested in selling my house.
Just a random call. She told me that. I was like, hello.
yeah.
I've had 3
But
of those.
but I get like
I've got 3 of them.
But you live in an area to where it's up and coming, and in 5 or 6 years, your house is going to be worth a lot more. So I get why you'd want to hold on to it, like practically, because if you can, you could make considerably
Right.
Well,
more
plus
money.
you love it.
I love my house.
So I get why you're not looking at all the signs because you don't like. Well, I want to just hang on to this. I make some more scratch.
Well, then you had neighbors that
Yeah.
were making certain things challenging.
There were some challenges and nothing
making
serious.
certain things challenging.
I've
it's a very
since-
diplomatic way to put that.
I've since talked.
I'm running for city council.
yeah.
That's right. I did talk to them, and they're really cool, and they are on the same page with me.
That's awesome.
And so everything is good there. So some resolution, right? We've had some things have been resolved.
But what it really came down to was the energy of the home.
This
right?
is so interesting.
Yeah.
This I didn't even think about, and it makes total sense.
Yeah. So you had told me the address, and I added up, and it was an 8. So if you add up each number, so let's say your address is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, that's way too much math. Can we go 3, 1, 2?
3,
So
21.
3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So you're
Like this is a fake address. Let's make it simple.
1, 1, 1. Okay,
Okay,
great.
perfect. 3.
So your house is the energy of 3, which would mean certain things, right? So
Okay.
your house was the energy of 8.
Right.
Which completely made sense with your lifestyle as you described it to me. So 8 is the energy of action. It's the energy of doing. It's the energy of having social gatherings and prosperity and abundance. And you said you added a pool. So that is...
Well, I had the pool, but when I first moved in, I was having carb parties. That we'd have tons of people over all the time. Just a lot of activity in the house.
And now... you've been on this spiritual journey and you're more quiet. Excuse me. You're spending more time alone. You're not having as many gatherings.
Right.
And the energy for you in your life has shifted. So the universe, by giving you these signs, they're just saying the house energetically is no longer a match for what you want to create in your future.
So the house energy won't ever really change. So that's why
That's
people
a whole
that
nother
are, if
thing.
somebody lives there and they no longer match the energy of the house, they're the ones that have to move. You can't change the energy of the house because the number will never change, right?
Yeah, so you can shift certain aspects of the home, like we can send frequencies to it, or I can do a house clearing. Let's say you have, like I just did a house clearing for somebody in Council Bluffs because 2 people had died in the home and they felt a lot of grief in the house.
Sure.
So I cleared it. So there are certain things we can do, but the overall energy of the house won't change
Right.
based on its assigned number.
Right.
it.
And so
Yeah.
that led me after hearing all that and letting that kind of sink in and soaking in it for a while. I came to is like all of a sudden I felt less anxious. I get it. I get it.
And what the universe is doing, and I thought this was great for you, they're just showing you that it's like a nudge, right? We said that. They're just nudging you so you can get emotionally prepared and mentally ready for what is coming. You don't have to move tomorrow, but they're showing you that this isn't a match any longer, and we're giving you opportunities to make other choices.
And that makes total sense.
Total sense. Yeah.
Because I don't want to, I can't imagine leaving my house without doing the things I have planned for it this year. Like, it's going to get painted in 2 weeks. I'm super excited because they're going to change the color of the shutters. I'm going to have a red door.
Like the whole house, the outside, really?
It's never been painted. It's steel siding, so it does. But it looks tired.
You want an update? Yeah.
Yes, I want to perk it up. And there's some brickwork. I want to perk it up. I want to get everything back to where it's supposed to be, so it should look the way that it should feel. You know what I mean? Right now, it looks tired to me. It just looks tired. So I have those plans, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it just means then this is, like you said, preparing me for what's coming. So doing this stuff, I can't imagine selling the house as it is. I know it could be done, but I would feel awful doing that to the house. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's like, well, how disrespectful.
No, I totally get it. You've made a connection.
But look what
with
you've
it.
done
It
with the
is-
house, though. Like, compared to when you moved in, you've completely flipped the inside of that house.
Yes.
So you've done the house right.
I wanna
You're not doing
finish
it
it.
dirty. If you would sell it today, you wouldn't be doing it dirty because the house is totally different than it was.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is possible, though. This is for you, your mental, wrapping your brain around it. And then it's very possible that the house that you're supposed to be in isn't ready yet, right? Like, I do this with dating all the time. I'm like, so God, am I going to be like 60 and still alone? And like, I'm getting more wrinkles like every day. So can we do something here? And I always hear he's not ready. And I know energetically it's because the divine feminine woke up first. So no offense, Pat, but we're a little bit farther on this journey
yeah, I know.
spiritually
On
than
everything.
most men.
100% on everything. No offense taken.
And he's still being prepared. But that's what I feel about your house is that it's not quite ready.
He could still be in college.
Oh my
How exciting is that? That's what it is.
Well, maybe
he's still an undergrad.
And maybe he's a late bloomer.
Right.
Right? That could be, right?
I've
Maybe
decided a long time ago I'm not a rehabilitation center and I'm not a daycare either.
Daycare. Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
I'm 41.
Yeah. Don't even start. Oh my God. No.
Anyway, so it's very likely that the house is just not even ready and you needed time to mentally prepare.
Right.
But had you ignored all these signs and stayed in resistance to leaving, it would have caused a lot more emotional pain for you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, this has changed my entire outlook. It's like now I'm looking at this completely differently. Before I was just feeling anxious and I didn't know why. And I wasn't connecting the dots of, you got phone calls. Oh, somebody came to your door asking if the house is going to be for sale. Would you be interested? Getting, the emails and all that other stuff. And it's just like, this is crazy. And then it was difficult, new neighbors, and they weren't what I was expecting. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was just this turmoil. And now once I see it this way, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is cool. This is cool because now I can kind of take my time and get things in order.
And there's a lot of things that the universe will guide you away from. I mean, and I just had an email last week from a lady in Wisconsin, and it was the same thing, basically. It's like, as you grow and evolve, or as your energy shifts, so you love your house, you haven't evolved past your house, it just no longer fits you. And people are having that with their jobs right now. Spouses, unfortunately, some will evolve and the others won't, and it's like, I don't even know you anymore, and can we go on this journey together? And houses, cities, like I personally feel like I'm starting to grow out of Omaha. The energy is just with our current city council.
Well, it is.
That's why you got to run.
That's why you got to run. That makes sense, though. I've heard
Festerson gets on my
but I've heard so many people.
He's the reason we still have this mask mandate. Sorry, I saw something about him today. He voted? Okay, sorry.
Who is this?
Pete Festerson.
Okay.
He voted to defund the police, and now the police are like supporting him, which makes no sense. So it makes me think, who's being blackmailed? Who's being politically forced?
Right, that doesn't make sense.
Who's being threatened to be suicided? Right,
Yeah,
I don't believe that recent.
It makes you always think about the whys.
Yeah,
The why.
sorry,
but that's okay.
So Pete,
sorry, Pete.
please drop the mask.
Sorry,
It's the first time he's on our show.
It's a 99.8% recovery rate. Can we leave the frick mask alone, please?
Isn't it? And I don't even want. We'll stop.
Sorry.
We'll stop right there. That's okay. We'll stop right there because don't get me wound up. Anyway.
I saw that this morning. I'm like, get out of my head.
Delete, control, delete, cancel clear, whatever.
Cancel clear.
Okay, I will cancel clear how I feel about PFAS. So
Okay.
cancel clear right now.
There you go. Done. But talking about people moving, I have so many of my friends that of late from Omaha and other places that have moved, just up and moved.
Like
and
out of the city or just a different house?
out of the city.
Gone.
And I'm thinking of two in particular that we know that went to Nashville in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another one that's about ready to go there. And I don't know why Nashville is pulling them. It's kind of, it's weird. I've got the majority of the people that I'm thinking of, it's like Nashville or it's the Southwest.
Yeah. See, I'm being called to either Sedona or Florida. I can't leave because of my kids, but I mean, I could go down some rabbit holes with why people are leaving Omaha, but I just think the energy here, and I think I'm here for a reason right now to help change the energy, but there are some, underground tunnels and the Franklin cover-up and things that happened on 9/11 at Offutt. Like, why did Bush go there? And Buffett, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And there's just a lot of, God, I just got to.
Yeah, I know,
target on my
right?
head.
But but it's there are a lot of things that have come to light in the last year. And you know, what's odd to me is that when you mentioned Franklin, is that has come up.
And I
more
don't
often.
actually trust we're a blue dot in a red state. I don't trust that.
Oh.
So I don't, my gut is there's something else going on in the city on multiple levels.
That's for some people, they're feeling that anxiety, and it's like, why do I feel this way? Or why does it not fit anymore? And it's interesting because my friend, he doesn't talk like this, right? But he literally said, he says, just something.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know what changed. He said, but I know I need to move.
Well,
and so
even,
I'm like, good for you though.
Yeah. Trusting that and honoring that.
Exactly.
He's going to be more realigned. But there are people on like Facebook groups that have said, I moved away a long time ago for that reason. Even the fact that we're so segregated and it was done on purpose, you know, there's just a lot going on in the city. And and that's why I mean, even this morning, I was like, I'm a little bit frustrated with humanity right now because like I love them and I want to serve them, but so many of them, their journey right now is to not wake up. It's not to honor what they're feeling. It's not to honor the universal signs. And,
or it's to resist them. It's that they know, they see it, but it's like the resistance of trying to keep things the way they are.
Yeah, and if just a few more people would have the courage to do,
or what if they don't know? Like you didn't know the universe was trying to get you to do something. So what if these people don't really know? They know it's anxiety. They know something's going on, but they don't know what it is. Like it could be that they're not resisting it. They just aren't letting it in. They just don't know.
So one of two things: one, slow down and get quiet. Because that's how the universe will talk to you. So if you're having those emotions, you're having this resistant feeling, you have to get quiet and ask the question, what do you need me to know right now? And then ask for the signs, ask for the delivery. Jill wasn't asking for any information about the house. And then I walk in and I have this random comment and she's like, oh, the light bulbs went off. So if you start asking about what is this, what do I need to know right now, the information will find you, but you just have to be open to it. There's just so many people. And that's what I was going to talk about that too. There's so many people in resistant mode right now. It's like, they don't want to change. They don't want to evolve. They're afraid of what the other side looks like.
Without a doubt.
But I promise you, there is so much more emotional and physical pain in resistance than there is just letting go.
Oh, for sure.
See, that
sense.
speaks to even just taking in all the information of the things that are going on right now. And I know there's a lot of resistance. Vaccine, I know there's a lot of resistance. And I understand. We talked about this on our podcast the other day because we were told to do it, and then in the same breath they're saying, but you can still get it and you still have to wear a mask and you still have to distance afterwards. And it's like, so for some people that's like, well, then I'm not getting it. Why am I going to get an experimental drug? Why would I do this? And
that can change your DNA.
Right. And that's the other part. That's the thing, is that I can understand that resistance. I also am fine with the people who say, okay, I'm good. I'm wanting to go, sign me up. And I'm like, okay.
But there's a difference between resisting what you know is right for you, right? So if I'm one that's resisting the vaccine personally, I cannot imagine taking a jab of a chemically filled cocktail that nobody has any idea what's happening, that way more people are dying, and they're not actually publicly talking about it. Where in the UK, there has been so much death that gyms will not let you work out there if you've taken the vaccine, because they cannot. If you've
taken the vaccine?
Yes, because they cannot be liable of what happens while you're in there if you drop dead or have an injury because of the vaccine effects. Yeah, and the U.S. media isn't talking about this. So there is a difference between resisting what you know is not right for you when you are being peer pressured into something. So I personally think the majority of humanity are good people. They have good hearts. They believe way too much that is just hand fed to them, and they don't do the research. But I have to believe that they're good. But that resistance, they aren't resisting what they know. Like, how many of them know that wearing a mask isn't like actually doing anything? It's not promoting health, right? But they just do it because they don't have it in them to resist. So there's a difference. There's a difference between doing what you know is right for you and or resisting that. You know, like if you know, like for me, I knew I was supposed to change my diet and I resisted it. I suffered for way longer than I needed to because I wouldn't do it. But we have a responsibility, I think, to resist what is not right rather than just conform because it's easier. Our children are going to suffer because of that. And
but like the mask situation, though, like you can't do you could do anything right now. You can go to any store without having a mask on. You get kicked out. So like if you feel like a mask isn't something that you want to do or whatever, how could it be such an uphill battle? Like if I wanted to go to Target right now, I couldn't because they have to have a mask.
So I have a medical reason not to walk into a
and do you have to have like a card if some Karen asks you?
A note?
A note, right.
No.
Okay.
You shouldn't because nobody can ask.
What happens is they have made policies. It is all blanketing. So in the city council's statute, it is supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to recognize medical issues of not wearing a mask. But because there is so much fear mongering and there's so much peer pressure, it is everybody has to wear it, and it doesn't matter what your reason is. That's where the people that really know that this is wrong, if more people did not conform and did what their heart and their soul was actually telling them to do, we would be able to band together. I walk into stores without a mask, and I got actually laughed at once when I said I have a medical issue and I'm not going to wear a mask. He literally laughed at me, and it like was ringing through the store.
Wow.
But if more people would do what was right, but then again, so many people, good-hearted people, haven't done the research, and they think, well, the TV, the government, and my doctor says I need to wear a mask.
Right.
And again, nobody's talking about vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, exercise, lowering your comorbidities, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
the things
more
that you
people
can actually
died
control.
like 2 years ago from medical mistakes than we did in like the first 11 months of COVID. And people don't research that, so they have no clue. So they're just trusting what's being told to them. And here's the deal. We're all so busy.
Yeah.
And stressed out.
Well, that's just it. We've got
and
jobs
living life.
and
But that's by design. It's on purpose. And so I guess, if I could get off my soapbox. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring this up today, but it talks about resistance. So if more people would do what they knew in their heart to be right, and resisted the peer pressure,
and it may be, and who's to say that you don't discover that it is right for you. But you're not questioning anything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
the thing. You're not asking any question.
If you're looking up things and you want to verify and validate what you're being told. That's all you're really. Yeah. That's really what I would say. That's what anybody should do. Is just verify and validate.
But like to the common person because I'm not a researcher, right. I should be, but like I hear something on the news, so I ask my doctor. And they both verify the same thing. Like, to me, I trust my doctor, whoever the doctor is. So I hear something on the news, I hear whatever, they say, yes, that's what you should do. Okay, well, that's verified to me. Like, I'm not going to go and then I'll be able to find opposite information of what anybody tells me online. I don't trust my sources online.
So that's when you have to go internal and ask what's right for you.
Okay.
Because as much as I think there is a place for Western medicine, most of them have more education in pharmaceutical drugs than they do in sources of disease.
Which makes sense.
So, so they, and unfortunately, the CDC and the FDA are these governing bodies, and if they're corrupt at all, then they direct all those doctors. How many doctors do you know that are doing their own research? They are doing exactly the same thing. The CDC told me this, the FDA told me that, and now I'm regurgitating it to my patient.
Because that's who they've been taught to try or taught to trust.
Yeah, and if people would actually research, Rockefeller did that on purpose because he could turn oil into drugs. And so he made everything else wrong and illegal.
That's just, seriously, see, that's where these are the kind of rabbit holes that
but for me, it's just,
it's connected.
Just get quiet and ask yourself these questions. So many people are in automatic mode and just doing what they see. And it's like, you are not a robot. You are not a sheep. You are a human being connected to the divine with this straight communication to God. And you have so much more potential than you're allowing yourself. And it could be in all realms of existence.
Honestly, that's what I would want anybody to take away of that is just it's okay to ask a question about it. And I've had people write in before and saying, I'm tired of hearing about asking questions. I'm tired of hearing about this. And I understand. I totally do. Because I'm pissed off that we have to.
Right.
I'm pissed off that we should, that we need to. But by the same token, we've been brought up to trust the guy in the box, trust the guy, that's leading the city, that's been voted in, and we call them our city leaders, but actually they were voted in by us to be the consolidated voice.
So,
but
can I just say, anxiety is probably the leading reason people come see me, and it's this underlying nagging feeling, and it's on the rise. Research the number of people that are taking anxiety drugs. It is, and we all know at least 10 people that are suffering with anxiety, and I personally believe that is because they are making choices or thinking things or doing things that are not in alignment with their higher being, their soul. Yeah. Their soul is saying, please come this way. And they're like, but this is how this reality is doing it. I got to go over here. And there's this tug of war, and that is creating that emotion.
And being able to open up and accept what you're feeling, that's scary to do because you don't want to be different.
And it's on you that if you make the wrong decision or whatever, it ends up not working out like you wanted, then it's like, well, I screwed up my whole life by following my whisper.
Personal responsibility.
And that's scary because you want to blame somebody else.
If you do what everybody else is doing, it's like, well, that's what everybody's doing. It teaches you that. Yeah.
So I guess I would just say, if you are feeling these internal angst, and even my conversation of challenging you to follow that internal guidance could cause you anxiety. So cancel clear that, because I'm asking you to evolve and I'm challenging you to get out of your automatic responses. But
you're not saying everybody has to do what you say.
I'm saying do what feels right to you. But there are a lot of people right now feeling a whole bunch of anxiety, and it's because their internal being is telling them something isn't right.
Yeah.
Whether it's the mask or the way we do things. And I personally know that we live in the upside down.
Right.
Everything is opposite of what it really is. So if you could just kind of look at your, take your 5 top things that you do every single day. And like, do I do this because I love it? Or is it automatic? Or is it expected of me? And what do I really want? Just start there.
Yep.
Just be aware of what do you really want. Because then the next thing is, I clear the energy of resentment from almost every single client. And it's because they are not doing what they know is right for them. Whether it's somebody that has no boundaries and they overgive, and my homework is realize where you are giving with joy, and then realize where the line in the sand is. And when did you cross into resentment? And what can you do about it?
Yeah, for somebody who does that, that's an easy thing to fall into, because if you're a giver, it's like we've talked about that before.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because Pat and I think we've both evolved from that. Yeah. But we both were that doormat personality. Is just like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Whatever. Yeah. I'll if it's going to help you and move us forward, I'll be the one that does it, as opposed to saying, No.
Like people that just say no to something, and because they don't, nobody has to give a reason why they say no. But people that have the balls to do that, like my wife's one of them. If she can't do it, or if it doesn't fit with what she needs to do for herself, she'll say no.
No.
And I've that makes me so uncomfortable. Like when I hear, because I could never just say like, hey Pat, can you edit blah blah blah? No. Like it would make me so uncomfortable, and I know that's a me
small
problem.
ass.
Right? That's a me problem.
But you're right about that. I've gotten much more comfortable with saying no.
But I always feel like I have to give
But
reasons.
again, why are you uncomfortable? Because you have been conditioned, and this reality says if you want to be a good person and a helpful person, you say yes to everything. Or you have to make up some grand excuse why you can't. So again, it's an inverted reality. What was going to cause you dis-ease and cause you to lose your life force energy by overgiving, and then it will create resentment. Resentment is hot and fiery in the body. It feels like your inside is on fire when I run my hands over you, which is going to cause how many other diseases? Like if you researched the source of 1,000 diseases, it results in inflammation, which I promise you probably carries the energy of resentment with it.
There you go. Yeah.
So for me, it is just having the courage to look at the things that you are doing because somebody tells you to do it or the way it's always been, and just ask, what do you actually want to do? And you don't have to make a change tomorrow or even the next week, but what do you actually want? What's right for you?
It's so interesting is the first thing that popped in my head when you were just now, just like wrapping this into wrapping it up, I guess, really, is that story. And we've talked about before of the woman making the roast and she cuts off both ends. And the daughter asks, why are you cutting off both ends? What's wrong with that meat? She's like, well, that's the way mom did it. So let's call mom. So called grandma. And she said that's how she did it. And so that's why they do it. Why did she do it? And well, grandma did it. Great grandma did it because her pan was too small.
Oh, yeah. I mean, see, and so and it's just a matter
like we've been throwing this meat away for how many generations?
The best fatty part of that ham.
Right.
Gosh damn it.
So Pat, you don't have to change tomorrow and say no to something. And I am really careful about where is my energy going and how do I feel about that? You know what I mean? And so like and that's all I can ask of people is you don't have to research every rabbit hole, but like get really real with yourself. What is creating the anxiety? What's creating that long-term disease you're experiencing?
And I'd have to say too, there's probably some people out there that do gain some satisfaction from going along because there's comfort in that, even though it'd probably be freeing to be the other way, but there is comfort in in a constant
conforming.
There is comfort in conformity.
Yep.
There is. And so I get that.
And
totally,
that's fine.
I do that too.
And there will be people that are not, it's not on their life path to not conform. And that's fine. Well, who I'm talking to are the people that know I'm talking to them. They feel it in their soul.
You just had a light bulb go off.
And they just need to. And I'm not asking you to change everything. Just ask yourself, what am I doing because I was told to do it that doesn't feel right to me?
Yeah.
That's what the light bulb going off for me was a month ago. Or was it longer than that?
I think it was a month ago now.
I think it was a month ago. But everything has shifted since then. I'm just like, I'm in a much better place because now, this is cool now. Because before it was like, oh my God, this is, something's gnawing at me. I get it.
I'm sorry. Right. And not conform, I totally got you. But I wanted to say not conforming is kind of a lonely road. You know, there's a lot of us do feel like not a lot of people understand us. And I have the personality where I can handle being alone, and I'm usually pretty okay with it. But I also have a lot of friends that are like me. And so and you don't have to change everything. You know, you don't have to like go live in a cave and have no friends. But just really get real about what's causing the most pain and stress in your life and what could you do about it.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Seems like every time we end an episode with you, it's always like, just be quiet, be calm, and just listen. Listen.
That meme that you see, when you pray, you talk to God. And when you meditate, you listen.
Listening.
It's great advice.
I never thought of it that way before. It's just like, shut up, Jill.
But that's maybe that's why I end with so much, because think about it. Like, if you have the radio on and you have the TV on and you talk to your doctor and your best friend said this, and I just heard a guy say, I've never been more excited for a shot. And when you hear that, you're constantly bombarded with this message. I even saw an article of don't fret if you have vaccine envy. And it's like, holy mother, what is like, we're bombarded with these messages of peer pressuring.
I didn't know that was a sentence. A vaccine envy.
I've never had shot envy.
So it is really, you're constantly bombarded with the message of conform. So just get really real about where are you conforming or what are you doing that doesn't feel right. And that's the whole thing. It's honoring your intuition.
Exactly. That right there. That's the bottom line, is trust your gut.
Yep.
So how do they find you?
RhiannaMays.com. If they want to find me anymore, I probably pissed a bunch of people off. But no, RhiannaMays.com. If you want to explore how I can help you uncreate and destroy some of these automatic patterns and really lift off
like our
the generational
asthma
stuff.
or not asthma, like
seasonal
our allergies.
Seasonal allergies, seasonal asthma.
I don't think it's
or
seasonal
even
allergy,
lifting off whatever heaviness you carry that you feel burdened by, that doesn't allow you to really get internal and explore. So
yes,
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Rhianna.
you.
Have a great one. Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe, or text us at 402-403-9478.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.